So this is tutorial on using Bash. So I'm just gonna enter full screen. Okay, so you probably have used already terminals if you have been using Linux or also in Windows PuTTY, and if you have been also connecting to remotely using SSH. So there are a lot of cases as a data scientist that you would need to know basic commands to issue, to list files, to create files, as well as also just to connect to a remote on a cloud and work. So there are many cases. If you are using Mac, just terminal will be just you can open it just by going into your and opening terminal. If you are using Linux, it's just very intuitive. Again, it's software is called terminal and you can open it. If you are using Windows, there are a number of ways that you can get a terminal window. One is, which I'm going to use here, will be just like if you have set up Jupyter, which you have already probably, that you can actually get a terminal window just basically by going into open, and then you get basically just like there is others. So there are Jupyter notebooks you can open and some other consoles, and then just there is terminal. So you can just, when you open terminal, you get to this page. So basically, because I'm using Mac, of course, everything works just in the Linux commands or in the Linux, all of them, like for example, changing directory would be the same as just in a normal terminal. So from there, you could do a lot of things. You can just basically connect to remote computer through that using SSH. But for this tutorial, what I'm going to do is I am going to just take you through the very basic commands and shortcuts that are available for you. So, and the very first thing I will do just is like, okay, now my terminal I've been using it and it has been just a lot of things. I want to clear it. So I could just do first Control L. That just tells, so the Control L command. So basically here there is the Control L command that I just used, which basically clears the screen and then displays the line. So it's basically just, that's what I pressed Control L. And here I can do, so just to know where I am, I can issue a command called pwd, which is basically trying to will show you the path of current directory. So, and that is basically here I am in this directory. So, and I can change directory to basically, if I want to go one down to users, for example, Yababa, I go this. Or the same, I think this one is also, there is another thing called tilde, which you need to use. This is exactly the same as like if you have a home directory, it will just take you the shortcut to go to change directory to home. And then it's basically, and then you can issue pwd, again, then you get users. And so I can just go to any of my folders, for example, Google Drive in my home directory, and then I just used change directory to that folder. I typed it, and probably it's faster, but I just pressed the tab completion just to go, to, if it's unique directory, will just go. So that's why it was faster. And here I can list, and then I can see all my files. For example, if I want to know when they are updated, I can just use L to see also not only just the files, but also just the entire information. And LSL is, so this way then I can get many informations like that. So, okay, and then again, I will just press Control L and you get, so these are, so these are the different, very essential shortcuts, just keyboard shortcuts that you can use to do a lot of things. And I use, and a few of them will just basically give you a lot more ability to do, to navigate in a terminal. And for example, most of the time, let's say I am I'm pressing the arrow keys. Upward means just going over history, and just downward is just downward over history. And then let's say I am just like echo, my name is so Pal. So if that I'm pressing that, this is the same as like Python print. So it's just going to print whatever it's there. So I get it. But now let's say I am here at the end, but I want to go to the beginning. Of course, it's just a short one, so I can just use a key, like the arrow keys just the left and right arrow keys, and I can just navigate that. But sometimes when you are working and to be efficient, the shortcut to go to just the beginning of the line will be just Control A, and then I get to just the beginning, and Control E to the end. So that's what here you will get in the shortcuts, like the essential shortcuts that you should use to be efficient. And then another very important thing that you should be aware is that variables, environment variables. Environment variables tells the computer where things are. It's basically just the address, like for where to, to fetch something. Where is like this command available? And it just basically all that is the computer knows that, or the operating system knows that because of these variables or environment variables. And the way to export environment variables, and in terminal, if you are using Linux and also Mac, for example, there's just the simplest place or the places where you can add a new directory to be in the environment is called bashrc. So you can open it. So now the most other interesting thing is that when you want to open, like say I'm just here and I'm here and I want to see what is available, let's say in just in a text file in this gdoc, and so I want to know what is available. There are a number of other commands that I can use. We will come to that, but you may also want to open some files just without leaving the terminal. And there is, the very two common editors for terminal are Emacs and VI, as well as also you can use Nano. Nano is in almost every terminal. If you are using Linux terminal or Mac terminal, then you will just use Nano. And let's say I am opening in my home directory, I will go into bashrc. Yeah. So with bash, with these variables, you can add some environment variables. And other ones that are very essential, which I want you to just experiment, basically going to your terminal in Jupyter Notebook and practice, are these the different uses of ls and touch and cat, more space. These are all head and tail, and there are a number of them. So some of them may not be installed. For example, Emacs may not be installed in your computer, so it's okay. But these all are the very basic ones. Move is moving files, cp is copying files, remove is removing files, and you have to be careful when you're using remove because it will delete from your computer, so don't use it. But moving just moves it into, you can change also file names using move. So these are a number of other ones that I want you just to practice, because, and then when you have questions, you will just basically ask via NSLAX. And these are other commands that you would use for changing directory, making new directories, and finding out in which directory you are. And then these are another essential ones are SSH or remote connection. Probably you don't have any remote server that you should connect now, but you can, for example, just know that at least that the way to connect via SSH is just basically just this. And when you have the host and when you have the permission, basically that you can use SSH. And these are all other ways to get information about your computer. Uptime, for example, is how long has been your computer up. This one tell you. Date will give you just the date, and others. So a DU and DF, for example, which I use more often, will tell me basically how much of the free space there are in my disk. And some others also will make will form soft and hard links, which we're not coming. You can kill processes that are stuck using kill and kill all, and top just basically to see, for example, all the processes. So I will just, because that's an important one, if I say top, what I will get is just basically all the processes that are happening. And then I can just, and then I press Q for quit, and then I just get back to my terminal. Okay, so while exploring, and there are here you can just look at the reference for understanding different, the use cases and introduction to terminal usage. But so while exploring this, this is just more opening, and knowing and understanding. It will take time to know which command is which. So like always, learning a new language means just understanding, remembering some of the essential elements. I list out here all of the most useful commands that you will use probably in terminal to do most of your things. Probably 90% of the things you will do in terminal will just only involve these commands. But from that, what I would like, just because this is a data science tutorial, what I want is that then I will give you, so just to first get data such that you can explore it, to open it, to and also to just see it and do some analysis on it using your terminal as a practice. But to do that, what I want you is that I want you to open a Twitter developers account. Here is guideline on what to do. There is also a reference in our page where you will find references about how to APIs and others for your self-learning. But after you do that, so here again is just Python, just you import. And if you don't have some of the packages, there is a way, you just use pip or conda to install them. And then here is just a guideline on what to do. So this is just a starting code to once you have a developer account, you will basically just put them in your environment. That's what is involves using export to define global variables. And once you define global variables, you can access them, environment variables, you can access them like this using OS and environ command module, and then you will access these things, the Twitter API key, secret, and token secret. And then after that, you're basically just you will be able to just run this cell to download data on hashtags that you like. So you can definitely change this thing to anything you like and then get data. And then from there, you will explore. So that will be your starting data. And then you will explore, you will open it using terminal to see what is inside and how many lines there is using WC. And that would be your exercise. So here, there are also, while you are doing that, there are a number of tasks that I defined. So go through the code and understand what this code below is doing. And if you find error, fix it. And that's something you have to do. And extend also the code just to do something that I haven't taught or something very interesting. So you are a data scientist, so you should start exploring. But for now, just keep understanding the data, keep understanding the code, as well as also if you find error, fix it, and make some nice plots. Put them into a data frame if you already know. If not, like you can wait for tomorrow just to get introduced onto the advanced or intermediate pandas and Seaborn. But I think you are probably most likely have already some understanding of Python, so you should be able to understand this. And then you should submit whatever you were able to do within these tasks and exploration by Wednesday. Okay, so that's it for now. And if you have any question, again, just you ask just in the Slack. Thank you so much.